All right, guys, welcome to our Tuesday night training call. I love it when we can have a guest on and you can hear from somebody else not on our team and just get a different perspective. And I know most of you know who our guest is tonight because his videos are all over the internet. They're all over Facebook, and he did a little show for us at convention. So I want to give a very warm welcome to Scot Pankey, who is a senior Ruby ambassador, and he's got some really great information he's going to share with us tonight. Hey, Scot, thank you for joining us.
Hey, everybody. I just want to say thank you so much for asking to be here tonight. I'm truly honored to get to speak to you guys, and hopefully I can share some new stuff with you. I'm sure that most of you guys probably know what you're doing, and that's awesome. You could probably teach me a thing or two. But tonight I want to talk to you just a little bit about how I manage my time between teaching, raising the best dog in the world named Hanky Panky, and running marathons, doing Ironman, and all that crazy, and taking care of parents and all that good stuff. So if I can do this business and manage my time, which I'm not the best at, anyone can do this business. So there's three things I want to share with you tonight that I've set as a cornerstone for me, and that's kind of helped me, especially in this business, but in my life as well. And that's one is writing lists down, managing my time. And for me, if I know that I'm doing the same thing all the time, then that gives me some kind of stability. I'm that type of person that, like, I know every Monday night I'm going to eat at Taco Diner. I know that every Tuesday night I'm going to eat at this little place called Eatsy's just around the corner for me. I know that, and so forth. I know that that's what I'm going to do, because I know if I'm keeping a schedule of my time, then that helps me just to have balance in my life. Same thing with running my business. So I know that every morning I am going to get up from 6:30 to 7:30, and I'm going to work my Plexus business. And I have a schedule of things that I do. I get up, and the first thing I do is check my comments or notifications and see if anybody has posted anything on my post that I need to be aware of, that I need to see, that, you know, if they're interested in Plexus, and immediately I will go and comment on their post and say, hey, I'll send you a private message, and then I instantly do that. I already have those messages that I send out to people in my notes on my on my phone, and I just go copy, paste, copy, paste, copy, paste. You know, with this business, it's great because you do not have to reinvent the wheel. So I have all of my notes, or all of my things that I send out to people in my notes on my phone, which is awesome. How did we ever get by without the iPhone before? It's the best invention in the world. After that, this may sound silly to you, but I go and I wish all my friends a happy birthday. That's their birthdays today. And I just you can go on Facebook, go to events, scroll all the way down, and all of your friends that have the birthday each day, it'll give you a list of those. And for me, I just copy, paste, copy, paste, copy, paste. I've changed the name, of course, sometimes. It's been really early, and I've put it on mute, so you know, you got to wake up before you do that. Yeah. And the reason I do that is because my Facebook, since the video went out last year, I've got a lot of Plexus people on my Facebook as Facebook friends. And I want my friends that are not my Plexus friends, and I still wish them a happy birthday, but I want my friends that I don't see a lot of now in my newsfeed, I want to comment on their post. And a great way to do that is wishing them a happy birthday, because that will pull them back up and they'll start seeing my post again. So really, it's a win-win. I've always been a person that likes to wish people a happy birthday, but if they can start seeing my Plexus post because of that, that's a great thing too. So that's why that's one reason why I do that, is wishing them a happy birthday. And you know, there's some mornings that I'm wishing 15 people a happy birthday. And but if you just copy and paste and change the name, it takes about 5 minutes to do that. Another thing that I do in the morning is I will post on my Facebook post my Facebook page, and I will have saved that the night before. A lot of people use Buffer. I'm so busy. I know that sounds crazy, but I don't even have time to buffer. It's just easier for me if I go and save a post that I see throughout the day, and then I just go copy and paste it in the next morning. That's easy for me. And I kind of want to have, I kind of want to share a post that I feel that mood in for the day. I just, for me, Buffer is a great tool, but I kind of have a thing that I kind of, like I said, talking about a schedule. I know that kind of every Monday, I want to post something, Monday or Tuesdays, I want to post something about inviting people to join me on my team. Because usually on Mondays and Tuesdays of the week, people are miserable in their jobs. They don't want to be there. So I will post something.
That's a really good point.
Yeah, I'll post something that kind of gives them hope and go, maybe I could do something better than what I'm doing right now. And then the Wednesdays and Thursdays are really the quietest times on Facebook. So I will just post something kind of about facts about plexus or nutritional facts on there. And Friday through Sunday are the busiest times on Facebook. So I'm going to post pictures of me using the products. I'm going to post success stories, people that are, working the products and having success stories. And that has worked really, that routine has really worked well for me. Yeah, and it's great, on those weekends when you're getting, especially on the weekends, you're getting people that are private messaging you and asking you questions, and then you have time to do that instead of me being at work, during the day in which I don't have time. One thing that I always try to do, though, anytime I have a 3-minute period between classes, I will try to check my posts that I posted that day and see if there's any comments, because I want to get back to those people as soon as possible. That's really, really important to do that. So that's something that I do. Then also in the morning between that 6:30 and 7:30 time, I will post on my team page. I will give them, this is something that I do. I know a lot of people don't do this, but this is something that I've done from the beginning to help my team, is I will give them a post of the day to share. It's usually a success story, and all they had to do is copy and paste that information and post that on their Facebook. Because the majority of the people, my friends, they're from all over the country. They don't know each other, but so they're not using the same audience, and I've kind of taught my team to do that too. It takes a little bit more time, but it's really been successful for my team, is giving them a post of the day to share on their news feed. So that's great. And then what else do I do? That's pretty much all I do in the morning. That takes pretty much of my time. I've started these new things, though, where I have created threads. And when I say messenger threads, are you guys familiar with those? And I
love doing those.
Yes. Why didn't I think of that sooner? I started that in January of this year, and it has changed my business. It has helped my team tremendously, because my team is not a local team. My team is spread out all throughout the country. And so that has been a great source for, I've picked people like my top 3 leaders in the group, and I put them in anybody above gold. I put them in a group. I've created a group for silvers, and I've created a group for my runners, people that are getting ambassadors on every month and adding them. And I'm sharing with them throughout the day. So if I have a thought going, ooh, my runners need to hear this, or this is something I thought about, let me share that with them. I'll just go to that and share that. And really, they support each other through those threads, which is awesome. And I'm like, why didn't I think of that a long time ago? But you know what? That's all right. So that's what I do in the morning. Then I have about
you accomplish a lot in an hour before school.
I do, and I do that all in the comfort of my bed.
Go for it. I don't blame you. I do not blame you.
I get my phone, and Hank is laying at the foot of my bed and keeping my feet warm, and I let my eyes adjust a little bit, and then I get ready. I get busy. And like, this is the life, Why can't I do this all the time?
Exactly.
And then when I get to work, I will work. I have lunch from 12:30 to around 1:30, and I will work during that time. And during that time, I am either watching Plexus videos or videos that kind of inspire me or that I can learn from. And if, and then I will share those with my other teen groups pages. So right now I have about 7 people in my downline that have their own pages. And so if I see something or a quote or a video or something that I like that I think, oh, that would be really good for them, then I will just go and copy paste on each of their posts. And that takes no time at all. That really takes about 2 minutes at the most to share on my team pages. What really takes the time is trying to kind of find something to learn from that day,
Right.
And research that. And so I usually, while I'm eating or whatever, that takes usually about 20 minutes. Then I'll watch the video or listen to the call, which sometimes, like a call that someone has done. And then I'll go and say, listen to this. And just to save my team time, I will listen to it and I'll say, skip the first 10 minutes, really kick in on minute 10, and really listen to that part.
So you're editing it for them also.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
And then at night, it just, our nights are crazy. When I'm talking about I'm talking about all of y'all. We understand how our nights can be busy, whether it's kids or church or, baseball games or whatever, going out to eat with friends. So usually if I have free nights, I will work. TV is kind of a pastime for me. It's funny. I used to be addicted to television. I mean, there was a television even in my bathroom. Every house, every room had a television, and I don't ever turn on the TV now.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's an important point that I really want you to touch on, because I know a lot of people will listen to this, and we have so many people trying to get to Senior Ruby, and then on to Emerald. And I know for myself, when we were at that first convention in Dallas, and I told my husband, I want to be Emerald next year, that's the first thing we did was give up TV. And a lot of people go, you really gave up TV? So do you feel like you're missing out on anything by giving up TV and working your Plexus business? I know I don't miss it. I mean, I watch a little bit of TV here and there, but not like before. So I want to hear your take on that especially.
Yeah, I don't miss it at all. And what's great about television now is that you can binge watch. So I use my summers to catch up with all my binge watching time.
That's
the time that I would be in school, in the summertime, that's all been in binge watching during the summer. And which is great because that gives me something to do. You can be out by the pool, watching your iPhone and doing like that. And then you get done with the episode, go check your Facebook, then watch another episode, so it's a win-win. It's a great thing. But I don't, no, I've given up TV. Like tonight I was on my computer and I thought, oh, it's Super Tuesday. And so I've been listening to some of the elections because I'm really addicted to elections and stuff like that. So I had that listening in my ear while I was working. And, but no, maybe I'll watch Scandal every Thursday, but.
Oh, I just found that on Netflix.
Yeah, you will be addicted to that this summer.
I've only seen 2 episodes and I already am. So
yeah, I love that show. But other than that, I don't even have cable. I don't even have cable anymore. So that saves me some money, But yeah, I just have no desire to watch TV or anything. Somebody, when I did the latest video this past month, somebody messaged me and like, oh my gosh, we just saw you on the Today Show. And I thought, I don't even watch the Today Show in the morning. I said, can you record it for me because I don't have cable and I don't have anything to record it with. So could you
I bet is it on YouTube or something where you can see?
No, I'll have to look that up. Yeah, I don't know.
Well,
crazy.
Let me ask you this. Before we talk a little bit about passion and goals, what got you involved in Plexus? Tell everybody just how you came upon this and why clearly you're health-minded, being a runner and things like that, but what was it that made you go, there could be something to this?
Yeah, my best friend, Todd Rouse, who's an Emerald ambassador, he went Emerald. He went Emerald in December. We've been best friends for 25 years. We went to college together. We went to graduate school together. I was in his wedding. the birth of his kids. I mean, he's my brother. He really is. There's no one like Todd in my life, and he's just so dear to me. So for 6 months, he said, he was sending me messages every month and going, Pankey, that's what he calls me. Pankey, you've got to do this with me. You've got to do this. And Todd and I were both teachers. We were both ministers prior to being teachers. And we wanted to have more time he wanted to have more time with his family. I just wanted to have more time to travel. And being in the ministry, you can't do that. And in ministry, I'm getting off a sidetrack, and I'm sorry, just a little bit, but ministry can be very lonely at times because you really see people on Sundays and sometimes Wednesdays, but the rest of the time you're in your office, or maybe you can go to someone's house, but it's not a group setting. And I am very, very social. So I started teaching theater, which is really my passion, so I can be around people and thrive and work with a team. Well, Todd started teaching too, but we were not making any money at all. Both of us took huge pay cuts to go into the teaching field. Like half of our salaries were cut. And so for years, we were like, how can we make more money? How can we make more money? And I was doing 3 other jobs besides teaching. I was Uber driving, I was pet sitting, I was house sitting, and then my full-time teaching job. So Todd had started this, and he was like, you've got to do this. He said, not only am I getting healthy, we're both in our mid-40s, and he said, but I'm making, enough money each month that I'm paying my mortgage. And I was like, really? Really? And I was like, I don't have time. I'm not interested. I didn't even know what network marketing was. And I even asked him, is this one of those pyramid schemes? And I laugh at that now. Yeah. So he said, well, if you're not going to join me, at least like my post. And this is how ignorant I was. I thought me going and liking his post, because that's what a good friend does, I thought that helped him get money. I thought if people would just like his post, he would make $1 for each like. I had no idea how it worked.
Oh, that's so funny.
So I would like it though. Okay, I gave him $1 so that So finally, he said, "You've got to sit down with me and talk to me about this." And really, just to shut him up, I said, "Okay, I'll talk to you about it." Well, he was telling me what he was making each month, and I don't even think he was silver. I think him signing me up made him silver. And he was like, could you use $500 extra a month? And I was like, oh my gosh, yeah, I could give up one of my jobs for that. And he said, well, you're on Facebook anyway. Why don't you just start posting? I'll give you the post to share. I was like, okay, well, why not? And of course, going through all those fears of, oh my God, what are people going to judge me? I really like to be liked. I don't want to be judged. And so I created my first post, the first month. I created like a friends list, and I titled it "Friends That Won't Judge Me." So, and there were I had about 1,500 friends at that time, and about 500 of those were my friends that I knew wouldn't judge me. And before I even got my products, I had my first customer, and I was like, oh my gosh, that's awesome. I remember that feeling. I knew exactly where I was standing when I got the message, hey, I want to try these products. And then I started getting more customers and more customers. And I thought, well, heck, I'm changing that to public, when you make your post public, because if I'm helping people, that's an awesome thing. And I think it was Celeste or somebody that posted last year. It may have just gone around, but it was just a quote on their Facebook post that said, I used to care what other people's opinions were, or something like, other people's opinions can't pay for my bills, or something, And I was like, bam, that's it. I've got to get rid of these fears in my life and do this, because I really felt that it was inspired by God for me to do this. Once I signed up, I really felt like God said, Scott, you're going to go to the top, and just trust me, and it's in my timing. And I've had things like that happen to me in my life before, and they came through, fruition. And so I knew that if I just was obedient in doing this, that it would happen. That doesn't mean that it's always easy, but, there's lots of obstacles and trials, and getting rid of your own self-doubt and fears and crap that you've told yourself for years. But it is, once you work past that and get through those valleys and those trying times, it's so worth it on the other side because you've grown as a person. So I'm sorry I'm rambling and going on.
We just had a call about this very thing, that a lot of times that's the only thing that holds us back is that fear that we have.
Yeah.
And that fear of what other people will think. And it's amazing how freeing it is.
Yeah.
When you can let that go and realize, wow, we're helping a lot of people in this company.
Mm-hmm.
And that's more important than if one person from 5th grade unfriends you,
Right. Who are you now? Yeah, you didn't even like me in 5th grade. So yeah, exactly. Yeah, I love what Ellen Ford has said. Do you guys know who Ellen Ford is? She's to the point, and I love that. Just tell me how it is so I can do it and go on. And she was talking in one of her calls that I was listening to, and I'm not even on her team, about, you've got to believe in these products like you believe in something that you're passionate about. And she was using faith as an example of that. And for me, that's that same thing. Other people they may disagree with you or they may not understand you, but they can never argue about your own journey. Do you know what I'm saying? So if you believe in these products and they've worked for you and you've seen how they've helped others and worked for others, which we all know those testimonies, then nobody can argue with you about that. They may disagree with you or they may not like it, but you know truth, facts, and you believe no one can argue with your own story, right?
And so you developed a story. You didn't just sign up. You actually used the products, had great success.
Yeah. And that's going to talk about my passion. So I'm going to get to that in just a second if that's okay.
Yeah,
that's going to tie into that. One thing that I also want to talk to you guys about, goals. Goals are huge for me. Goals are huge. I didn't understand goals growing up. I didn't get the concept of it, and maybe it's because I was too lazy, or my life was just everywhere, and I was, I would dream, but I didn't ever know how to establish goals in my life. So in my 40s, I really figured out what it meant to have a goal, and that's when I started running, and I'll talk about that just a little bit. But goals are huge for me, so I would really encourage everyone to set goals each month. I always set a goal for myself of signing on 3 ambassadors each month and going silver. When I first joined this business, I was at a party and I talked to this woman, and she was a network marketer, and it was just a party with friends. And she said, "What do you do?" I said, "Well, I'm a teacher, but I just started selling Plexus." And she's like, "Oh, I've heard of Plexus." She said, "I'm a network marketer also." She said, "Always be the best leader on your team. Always be the best." And I was like, "What do you mean?" She said, "Always be an example to your team that they can watch you." And so, if you're not doing anything, then your team's not going to do anything. And so I've used that, that mentality, that wisdom ever since. And I've always made a point for me to sign on at least 3 people, go silver each month. And there's been months, like month of January, I signed on 15 people. But if I know that if I'm signing on 3, that I've met my goal, and anything above that is just a perk. I signed on 15 in January. I signed on 10 in February. But I always try to get my 3 before the 15th of each month, because if I, the rest after the 15th, I can just take a breath, go, okay, I met my goal. That was, and then if I get any more after that, that's a great thing. But I try to teach my leaders on my team to do the same thing, because nothing's more disappointing than you have a leader and you're working so hard and you're like you're kind of questioning, well, what are you doing? How are you helping? And not that they teach us in network marketing not to let go kind of your upline. You know what I mean when I say that? But still, there's always you always kind of want. Yeah.
And it's
yes, exactly.
And so if you're not doing anything, they're going to duplicate nothing.
That's right.
If you're working hard and adding people, hopefully they'll duplicate that.
Exactly. Exactly. Or if not, they'll find out how I'm doing it and they'll ask me, and then I can teach them.
Mhm.
So that's always important. And also I set a goal for myself to at least have 2,000 in PV each month. Um, and so that's been really great because, and I teach, and I don't do that I don't tell my team to do that. I always try to, encourage my team to have over 500 each month. But for me, I just kind of set my goals high and I want 2,000 each month. So that's really important. And anything over 2,000 is a perk as well. And I think with 2,000, don't you get the top of your points for convention, right?
Yeah, you get 300.
Yeah, yeah. So in the month of January
Or
and
is it,
February,
no, it's 2,500, I think. Is it? I think
it's
it's
300.
2,500.
It's 300. Yeah,
Yeah.
because I think I got in January and February I got a total of 600 points.
That's awesome.
So that can help you. Hey, go to that winner's dinner, right?
I'm going for the gala.
Yes, yes, absolutely, absolutely. I got to go to that last year. It was awesome. Were you there?
I wasn't at the gala. I missed it by 200 points.
Oh my God. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, it was
Yeah.
awesome. It was awesome.
Yeah.
So that's another thing that I do. And also, of course, another goal for myself is always help my team. I'm always trying to get new ideas. And like I said, in January, I started those threads. And that has really been great for me to do that. So goals are huge. So the last thing I want to talk to you about is passion. And you cannot do this business without passion. And I guess I hit Senior Ruby in July of last year. And in June of last year, the month before, I started grad school at NYU. It was actually my second summer to be there in New York City. And thank God for Plexus because I was able to pay for that. And, when you're a grad student, they don't give you scholarships really for grad students. So you have to pay that out of your pocket. And for 2 classes, that cost $10,000. And the reason I'm saying that is because I put my Plexus business on the back burner because I did not want to waste that $10,000 and I wanted to get a 4.0, keep my 4.0 at NYU. And I did, which was great, but it suffered my business. It made my business suffer because I did put it on the back burner. And I thought, in August and September, I would get back up and start going again. And I did, but I want to say this. When you get off the track and you put things on the back burner, it takes twice as much work and twice as long to get back on board. And even though I started again kind of in the middle of August, it took really the end of September for me to get back in swing and get my team back in swing. And then October came. And
Bum, bum, bum.
yes. And I did not have the foundation with my team that I should have had when the back office changed. And huge growing lesson for me in that area. And I'll be completely honest with you. There were 2.5 months, October, November, probably the middle of December, I was just done. I was done. I was frustrated. I had a horrible attitude. And I just kind of checked out because I didn't know how I could help. I didn't know what to do. And I saw my friend Todd, who I signed up, he was doing great, and that was even more frustrating for me, not because of him. It was more frustrating for me thinking, what am I doing wrong? What's going on? And that was just hard. It was a hard time. And the end of December, I went back down to Ruby. I lost in those 3 months, I lost about 300 points. And I thought, okay, either I can get to work or I can just let it keep going the way I want. And this was my mind. This is what changed my mind. I thought, my team deserves better. And these people have signed up underneath me. And it's not my job to let them down. It's my job to encourage them, to motivate them, and inspire them. and lots and lots and lots of prayer had to go into my attitude and to change it. And I'm usually a positive person, 99.9% of the time. So, but you know, in those 3 months of October through December, I felt things were out of my hands that I couldn't control. And so I had to pray that every morning when I woke up, that instead of having a negative attitude, I had to have a positive attitude, and really condition myself how to do that. And I had to put the control in my hands. I had to take charge and take ownership of that. And if the customer service was going to be forever on the phone, I want to tell you this, every single speech on that customer service recording, I know them by heart.
I know. Did you see? And Addie King is a diamond now. And on the recordings, I think she just made senior gold or something.
Oh, really?
Yeah, those speeches. Yeah, I think we all had them memorized.
Yes, and I ran them to the ground. That's you know.
That's her.
That's
her.
her.
The girl that just made diamond.
That's awesome.
The 15-year-olds coming out. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and what I also saw that was a huge motivator and inspiration for me was even during those hard times, people were promoting.
Yes.
Yeah. And I thought, okay, then something's up with me. That's not this business. Something's up with me that I've got to change because it's working for other people. So I started praying. In December, I just said, we're going to go full out. And that's when I started those threads, and I started changing my attitude and going in with positive. And the end of January, I say December, I meant January. The end of January, I ranked back up to senior Ruby by like 20 points. But I was happy. I was like, I'm back to senior Ruby. And then February, I went up to 944 points because my team started working and I started working and we started getting. And last month, we signed on 64 people on my team. Wow. And they are working so hard. Will I be Emerald by convention? That is my hope. That is my dream. And I'm going to say yes because I'm working so hard and helping my team to get there. That's my goal, to do that. Talking about goals again, is to be Emerald by May 31st.
You will do it. You will do it.
Thank you. Thank you. Let me go back to my running real quick, and I know we've got to go.
It's okay. You talk as long as you want. If anybody has to hop off, they can hop off. This is really good information. Really good information.
Thank you, guys. When I turned 40 about 5 years ago, I was living in Colorado, in Denver, and there's kind of an underwritten rule that if you live in Denver, you've got to exercise and work out and be active. And I had never done that in my life. My 30s were a emotional roller coaster with weight. I mean, I got up to 200 pounds and lost 50 pounds, went back up to 200 pounds, lost 50 pounds, did that about 3 times in my 30s. And so I thought something's got to change in me. And so I had a summer off from school, and I got up one morning. I was like, I'm bored. I want to do something. I thought, well, I'm going to go run. I didn't even have running shoes. I had these old beat up tennis shoes. And so the first day I ran a block, and I was like, I'm done. Okay, that was it. And so I thought, well, what if I run tomorrow? What if I run 2 blocks? And so I got up the next morning and I ran 2 blocks. And I just continued that for that summer. And so during that summer, I set a goal for myself, which I'd never done before, especially when it comes to athletic ability. I set a goal that I was going to do a half marathon in the first week in December. And I'd moved back to Dallas during that time, during that summer, for a job here. And so I had some running buddies that I knew here, and I asked if I could join them, and they'd already, been runners that had actually already done a half marathon. And, they said yes, but they really weren't excited about me running. I said, listen, if you will just let me be on the same track as you, you can go ahead in front of me. You don't have to, keep up with me or anything. Just go ahead. So, and of course, that's what they did. But I learned self-discipline. I learned to say, self-motivate myself and say, you can do this. And when December came around, it was 40 degrees, it was raining. I did my first half marathon after 5 months of training. Now that 13 miles could have been from LA to New York and back. It was huge for me. But what it also was a huge motivational boost for me, that I could do something if I set my mind to it. And really, to be honest, things in my life prior to that had probably been given to me, and I really didn't have to work too hard to get that. So that was really important for me to be able to be disciplined enough and learn that I could tell myself that I could do something, and that I did it. And also, not that things were always given to me. There was also, it's just a whole hodgepodge of self-doubt, and feeling sorry for yourself, just a whole bunch of stuff. So the next year I thought, well, why don't I run a marathon? And my friends that I ran with, they'd never run a marathon, and they kind of looked like, yeah, you're right, you can do it, Pankey. There's no way you can run a marathon. So when people tell me that I can't do something, that's going to motivate me even more that I am going to do it. So I trained all year, and when I signed up for the New York Marathon, I raised money for a charity, and I flew up to New York to run it. And it was the year that Sandy hit, the hurricane or tropical storm Sandy, and they canceled it at the last hour, the marathon. And it was devastating for me because I'd worked so hard, and I thought, okay, of course I had my self-pity and gotten a ball for about a couple of hours. But then I thought, well, I've trained. What can I do? What can I do to use this training that I've done? And so I got on the internet and I looked for the next marathon and where that was. And I was going to fly up to Missouri, but then I found a local marathon in Fort Worth, which is about 30 miles away from here. And so I signed up that night, and it was the next week. So I flew back to Dallas, went to Fort Worth that next weekend. Instead of being in a race where there was 50,000 people, I was in a race where there were 300 people. And you would run miles and not see anybody. And every once in a while, you would see a person on the side with a cowbell going, "You can do it. You can." You're like, thanks for the motivation. You would get to water pits, and this was how sad this marathon was. You get to water stops, and they ran out of cups, so you had to drink water in your hands, And but I finished it, and I did it.
Yay.
And I encouraged myself all the way. And it's 90%. They tell runners it's 90% here, and 10% with your body. So 90% said, just keep going. Just keep going. No one's cheering you on. You're not seeing anybody. You're not even sure you're on the right trail, but just keep going, and you can do this. And I finished it, and it was a great moment in my life.
That is really cool. Tammy, who's on with us, has done a full marathon. I've only done half marathons, but she's done a full. So I can't even imagine doing a full. That's a big accomplishment.
That's awesome. Way to go, Tammy. Way to go. That's a huge accomplishment. The next year after that, I set a goal for myself to do an Ironman. I didn't own a bike. I had not been in a swimming pool. Only time I'd been in a swimming pool when I was putting my feet in, or I was just splashing around. So swimming I had no idea what I was doing. And so, but you know what? I thought, well, I can learn. And I had somebody that was very dear to me when I was growing up. She had just completed an Ironman. I thought, well, if she can do it, I can do it, and not that I thought I was better than her. I just thought, I know her. I know her heart. I know who she is. And I know that if she can go full force doing this, I can too. She motivated me. And so the next year I trained, I got a trainer, I got somebody to help me. And I did it. I did my first and last. I did my first Ironman. And if you're not familiar with an Ironman, you swim 2.5 miles. You get out of the water, you have to bike 112 miles, and then you get off the bike and you have to run a full marathon. And you have to do that in a 17-hour period to be considered an Ironman. And each of those events, you have to complete those in a certain amount of time or you're disqualified. So I did it, and I did the whole marathon. I mean, the whole Ironman in 14 hours and 56 minutes. And it was the best day of my life. It truly was. Because 3 years earlier, I wouldn't have considered myself an athlete at all. So I say this all because of passion. When it comes to your Plexus business, you may not know what you're doing when you first start off. You may have people tell you that you can't do this, or they may not be cheering you on from the sidelines. But if you believe in yourself and you learn and you get people which you have in your upline that will inspire you, that will motivate you, that will teach you, then the sky's the limit for you. You can go all the way to the top with Diamond, because it's 90% here, 10% willpower. You can, if you believe that you can do it, you can do it. And surround yourself with positive people that want the best for you. Are you going to have hard days? Heck yes. Am I training for my Ironman and my marathons? Did I fall? Absolutely. Did I get scraped up? Yes. Were there days that were rainy and lightning and snow that you had to go through? Absolutely. Were those fun days? Not at all. But if you truly, truly want this, and you can see yourself with that title of Diamond, then you will do whatever it takes for however long it takes for you to get there. And that's been my goal. Going back to goals, that's been my goal from day one. When I signed on with this, I thought, I can see myself being Diamond, and I'm going to do whatever I can. And yes, there's been crappy days. October through December, there were crappy months. But it's all about changing your mindset, thinking that you can do it, thinking positive, and surrounding yourself with good people. So will we be Diamonds? Absolutely, if that's what you want.
Amen. So real quick in closing, what's been the best part of this whole journey for you so far, the whole Plexus experience?
That's a great question. I would say the relationships that I've met through here. I don't know if you guys agree, but when you get older, like I am, it's harder. It's harder to have relationships. People they're with they're going in their own direction. They're with their families or their jobs, take a lot of times. And, there were moments before I joined Plexus that I was kind of lonely, to be honest with you. And, I felt like a lot of times that I would have to reach out to people, and it's not that people are distant. They're just busy. People just have lives to lead. And, this is the relationships that I've established through Plexus has been the best thing. Getting to talk, getting to laugh, getting to dream together, getting to, have joy with and celebrate each other's victories and help each other when they're down. I felt like God has created me to be a people person, and, relationships are huge. We have to be in relationships. So I've gotten, how many ambassadors are there? I've developed so many new friendships because of this company, people that are not even on my team, because of this business. And when you go to things like convention or leaders retreat or Super Saturday or these new things that are coming up, what are they called? Events, these Plexus events are coming. Yeah, it's like a class reunion. You're seeing people that you haven't seen in a couple of months, or you do sip and seas with people, and it's so great. And I can honestly say, since I've been Plexus, there hasn't been a day that I've been lonely.
That's true. They become like family. I would say probably 80% of my team I did not know prior to Plexus, and many of them are literally like family. So yeah. That's awesome. Well, I know how busy you are, so I really appreciate you taking the time to share with all of us. And we're going to put this into a recording, and I'll send it to you in case you want to use it for anything. And guys, do you have any questions before we let Scott go? Does anybody have a question for him? He pretty much covered everything: the passion, the goals, the time management. I mean, sticking with it. I think a lot of people on the call right now can relate to the tough times. And I've got some real fighters on this team who, just like you, we've gone backwards and then climbed back up. So really, thank you for the message. I think That was a good one that we all needed to hear. So thank you. And I look forward to seeing you at convention and in Hawaii.
Awesome, Aaron. Thank you for all your time and thank you for your heart and just, you got a great team. So keep up the great work.
Thank you. Thanks, guys. Y'all have a great night. We'll talk to you soon. Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.